Life, humanity, and planet Earth are facing serious challenges due to climate change. Our actions alone can mitigate these challenges and preserve the planet for both current and future generations. Many nations are aiming to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. The goal also includes commitments to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 or 2070. Climate change and its impact on life and planet Earth are the consequences of the Industrial Revolution initiated by humans and characterized by unsustainable, excessive, and unnecessary consumption. The Industrial Revolution, which began in the late 18th century, introduced new ways of manufacturing goods, generating electricity, and building infrastructure like roads and buildings. However, these advancements relied heavily on burning fossil fuels, leading to increased pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, widespread deforestation to make way for industrial activities contributed to the rise in carbon dioxide levels, exacerbating climate change and global warming. When you cut a tree, you are eliminating the carbon sink and, in turn, the oxygen generator for you to live. Single-use plastics contribute to environmental pollution and waste due to their short lifespan and limited recycling capabilities. Manufacturing without demand, employing persuasive advertising and annual model changes to spur customer purchases, regardless of necessity. Many purchase clothes for one-time use, contributing to 10% of global carbon emissions. Discarding edible food as food waste intensifies environmental issues, including heightened greenhouse gas emissions, resource depletion, and biodiversity loss. Unnecessary lighting contributes to a significant environmental issue, resulting in substantial carbon emissions. The overindulgence in social media, with individuals incessantly sharing reels solely to garner likes for personal gain, coupled with the proliferation of free services, leads to a vast accumulation of data in online storage facilities. Unfortunately, much of this data remains untouched by users beyond its immediate necessity, contributing to the expansion of energy-intensive data centers. The creation of sustainable, eco-friendly data centers hinges on users adopting responsible data consumption practices, prioritizing the storage of essential information and promptly deleting unnecessary data. Climate action challenges involve creating awareness and enabling sustainable practices through behavioral, systemic, and design changes and responsible consumption. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which were finalized on September 25, 2015, during a historic United Nations summit in New York, marked the adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development by all 193 member states of the United Nations. These goals serve as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all by 2030. They were crafted to address a range of global challenges, encompassing poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. The true impact of meeting sustainable development goals is hindered by various factors, including lack of awareness, unnecessary consumption of products and services, wastage, inequality, greed and corruption, excessive inventory stocking, disposal of goods as waste, accumulation of excessive wealth by a few, denial of services to the impoverished or assistance to the poor, war and excessive weapons stockpiling, environmental degradation, lack of access to education and healthcare, commercialization of education and healthcare, siphoning of government, welfare, grant, and public donations by some middlemen and NGOs. Population growth exceeds the capacity of infrastructure and support systems. Finally, ego and a don't care attitude lead to the mindset of, it's not for me. The first conference of the parties, COP, meeting took place in Berlin, Germany, from March 28 to April 7, 1995. What do nations promise at COP meetings every year? Our nation pledges to achieve net zero by 2050 or 2070. This commitment is made by the government on behalf of the people, businesses, and their stakeholders. However, do people understand what a carbon footprint is and why their consumption contributes to it? Net zero or carbon neutral refers to achieving a balance between the amount of carbon dioxide, CO2, emissions released into the atmosphere and the amount of CO2 removed from the atmosphere or offset through various measures. Governments and businesses alone cannot fully solve the environmental challenges to meet the net zero target, even with regulatory compliance, carbon credits, incentives, and carbon taxes, unless it becomes mandatory for all, including students, employees, and individuals. Too many fail to grasp or choose to disregard this reality. It's akin to a dangerous pact. You, as individuals, consume without consequence, while we heap pressure on corporations, big and small, to meet the SDG goals. The fate of achieving net zero in the distant future remains uncertain, as those who pledge may not wield power to see it through. Yet, it is within the grasp of individuals, students, youth, and employees to seize control, embrace responsible consumption, and propel our nation towards the vital goal of net zero, safeguarding the future of our precious planet Earth. Do know your carbon footprint. One step by everyone, a giant leap by mankind. Join the green revolution. Step towards actionable sustainability.
Your daily actions and activities induce carbon emissions, CO2, into the environment when you use electricity, gas, petrol, diesel, waste food, or dispose of waste, use water, and purchase clothing, shoes, etc.
Your small actions every day will result in a giant leap for mankind to save this planet Earth for current and future generations, just as every drop of water counts and every action counts to combat climate change. Together, we can make a significant difference in preserving the environment for generations to come.
All life forms except for humanity practice sustainability through responsible consumption, and this is the root cause of global warming and climate change. Many are only talking about sustainability and climate action but do not practice sustainability in their personal lives and business-related consumption.
Mars, the closest planet to Earth, is seen as potentially habitable by scientists. Despite lacking key conditions for human life such as a breathable atmosphere and abundant water, the journey to Mars takes around 6 to 9 months. However, while Mars holds promise, it remains a distant goal. It may or may not materialize, accessible only to a few who can afford it. Think again. The simple solution is to facilitate rapid awareness building and widespread adoption through mobile apps, empowering and educating students, youth, employees, individuals, and SMEs to adopt responsible consumption by tracking and reducing their carbon footprint, thus individually and collectively achieving the Sustainable Development Goal. Schools, colleges, universities, businesses, NGOs, and employers are invited to contact us to launch a sustainability awareness program, engaging all stakeholders, students, employees, and individuals, to track and reduce their carbon footprint through responsible consumption using the PlanetSustain mobile app. Act now to create a sustainable future for all life, including yourself, future generations, and planet Earth. Join us in making a difference. It's easy and simple.